Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name's Luke Basin, and I am honored to have back on the show a friend of mine and a friend of MMA Fancast, Karli Jo Thomas. Karli Jo, welcome back.
Thank you, Luke. How you doing?
Always great, always doing better when you're on the show or when Justin and General Pat's on the show. Either one of you guys, you've done combined interviews before, which has always been fun. So thanks so much for coming on. We've got big news. I think it's still pretty recently announced that you're going to be fighting MMA September 23rd for New Line Cage Fighting promotion down there in Lexington, Kentucky. So let's jump into that. Congrats on that fight coming up. When did the matchmaking come together? How excited are you to have a fight with an opponent? Looks like it's Ava Simmons is your opponent, something like that. So let's talk about how this fight came together.
Yeah, Ava Simmons, she's from Lexington. We just got matched up on Thursday and everything kind of all happened. Thursday, I know in the morning we kind of discussed the opponent. By Thursday night, I signed the contract. So it was good. We've been, waiting to get something lined up. So
yeah, and that also shows, it's a cliche, but I know with you guys, it's true too, the way you train and the gym and how much hard work you put in. You stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And just a quick, tiny little soapbox thing, particularly amateur fighters, and I know how hard it's been for you to get matched as a female amateur fighter. You could not have said yes to this fight if they started messaging you on Thursday. The fight's about a month away, and let's say you haven't been training, you're not in camp, So just a shout out to all, particularly the amateur fighters. If you want to be able to take a fight on 3 weeks or 4 weeks notice, like Karli Jo just has done, you got to be training like you could have a fight. I know there's times where fighters put in their mind that they need a 10-week or a 12-week or an 8-week fight camp. Of course, that would be beautiful, but the world's not a perfect world. So congratulations to you and your team and your work ethic to be able to, Thursday, and now we're talking Saturday, the poster's up, you're ready to go. It's going to be a real fight, and it's under a month away. So congratulations on your willingness to be there. How frustrating has it been? You last fought about a year ago. I got to watch you fight, called your fight. How frustrated has it been to not have a fight before now, and how relieved are you and grateful are you to have this opportunity?
yeah, it's been over a year off, and it's a real big relief. I mean, I had to get knee surgery last December, so that's kind of been the main reason it's been so long. But just getting, recovering from that and getting, my issues I was have going on taken care of and getting healthy again. Like, I wanted to fight in July, and I know Isaac, being the great man that he is, kind of made me wait a little bit to make sure I was, 100% ready to go. But I feel like I've been training hard ever since I was allowed to be back on the mats. So, and you know how it is at the factory. We're ready to go whenever. You can call
I
me
figured that's the
Thursday. We
Mat
can fight on
Factory way.
Saturday.
The hammer way, right? Is
Yeah.
a hammer squad way is you're always training, you're always ready. I mean, I know that you've got Bat Queen. I called her Bat Girl, but I believe her nickname, Cheyenne Hall's nickname, is Bat Queen. So I apologize to Cheyenne. She's incredible. But I know that I think it's Sundays, you do like a girls squad where there's like 10 to 15 ladies that pull together and obviously the Mad Factory is incredible, but how's that kind of that women fighters? You've got Cheyenne, and then I think you pull fighters on 1 day a week from other gyms as well. So how much do you look forward to that? Whatever that event is, I think it's Sundays. It's like your girls squad.
Yeah, so Sundays a lot of the girls from like different gyms come over. Like we get Jess from Stout, Britt
Oh,
from Stout, Claire, Maya. You get like random girls sometimes. It's it's awesome having like a bunch of different girls to train with, and it's nice to have people that we trust, but we don't get to train with all the time. So we don't get so used to each other's style, and we can kind of like test the stuff we've been working on. So I think that's really good, just the dynamic of the grappling looks that we get. Like, I roll with Claire, and it's like a different world for me because her jujitsu is just so good. Like, I have good jujitsu, but her jujitsu is like, just, it's different. so it's really nice to get different looks like that. And then like, we get to work with Britt, and Britt's just a, dog all around. So
Yes.
that's great too. She's a big tough girl and strong, and she's, it's good skills. So yeah, it's awesome. Like Sundays are the best. Like I know, we were just saying last week, don't drink on Saturday night if you're gonna plan on coming to the Mat Factory on Sunday.
Yes. Yes. That's a good advice for I know athletes tend to, but years ago I used to roll with a guy Saturday mornings, and he was either still drunk or it was just sweating out the pores so much. It was like, oh, gross. So,
Yeah.
but yes, well, let's respect your teammates and obviously the conditioning element. You guys are incredible. That's a great thing, and that's part of that. I know, the legendary coach, Dr. Isaac Relay, who's the only 247 Hall of Famer. He has that Pittsburgh versus the world mindset, right? Like there's all these stories of him training fighters from other gyms that may eventually compete against a Mat Factory person, but the reality is he wants the Pittsburgh area to really increase, and so do the stout guys. I mean, it's a great environment all over, and we really saw that at the back-to-back double event back in July. You referenced it, where there was a sprawl on the Berg. Jess Elizabeth looked incredible, and then she sang the national anthem the next day. And it's just a really talent-rich environment. Let's talk about the fact that you're going to be going to fight the hometown girl. To me, I think that's perfect for you, because one of the ways, free advice again, if you're an amateur fighter who's having a hard time getting matched, for you, it's because you've had 4 fights, you're 2-2. That shows that you got a lot of experience. You're training hard. You're a really talented athlete. A lot of times, amateurs end up turning down fights because they don't want to be the out-of-towner. They only want to fight, as the hometown. And I would humbly say you can't do that. You got to be able to travel. You got to be able to take fights when people are willing to offer you a fight. How much are you looking forward to going on the road, getting down to Lexington, and being the Pittsburgh representative in a foreign sort of hostile area?
I'm actually really excited to travel. I actually, for me personally, it's like harder for me to want to fight at home. I'd rather like be in a crowd where most of the people don't know who I am, I guess. Like my first 2 fights were in Ohio, and I was like way less nervous and like but put way less pressure on myself than I did for that fight for 247. So I think that's something I need to actually work on in a way, but I think it's also a benefit that I'm comfortable not being the most like person in the room, I guess.
Makes sense. It's something you've learned about yourself. Your opponent, Wendy Bonesaw Edison, has just gone on to continue to be very impressive, and she has got a big fight coming up tomorrow, I think. So hats off to her. She's incredible. Her husband came on the show. He got injured, which is why he didn't have a big UFC career, but he ended up having a retirement fight. I mean, they're a great couple doing great things, I think, in North and South Carolina. But I can see what you're saying. You were the hometown fighter. You had a lot of support behind you, and sometimes that can be positive, but sometimes that can also put extra pressure. My favorite heavyweight fighter of all time, Stipe Miocic, defended his heavyweight UFC strap in Cleveland, and he said he would never fight in front of a hometown crowd again because of the added stress, the added pressure, the added, he won his title down in Brazil when they were screaming in Portuguese, we're going to kill you type thing. He liked that over the hometown Cleveland crowd that obviously loved him. So I think I would love to see you fight in 247. I don't want anybody from 247 mad at me, because obviously we'd love to have you back, but I think it's great mindset wise that you want to go on the road and get a fight and get a win against, in a foreign area. What do you think of your opponent? How do you see this fight going? Don't give away any secrets. In right now, it's kind of like, I think Kentucky has a little bit different of a rule set. So what type of rule set is it? Is it 3 minutes, 3 2 minutes? What's the breakdown of this fight?
So it's 3 3-minute rounds. I am not 100% certain on the rule set, but I've been asking a few people, and Yeah, I get mixed answers. Some say has been saying it's like all pro rules, like
Okay.
elbows, knees,
Please.
everything. Yeah, feet, ground, all of that. And then some were saying no elbows on the ground. So I'm gonna look into it and just make sure. But it seems like my opponent has a little bit of a taekwondo style, but she also's very like full pressure forward. Um, so I just have to stay in good position, you know, keep my distance in the, use my strikes in the right spot. And when it gets messy, just be smart, stay tight.
Well, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. You're going to have great coaching, great game plan around you going into it, obviously. So, and even though it might seem strange for people listening, particularly from the Pittsburgh area, that's very common. It's very common to not know 100% of the rule set. Try to get it figured out, train a couple different ways so that, if there's a bigger rule set that you're ready for it. I've seen that's one of the reasons why I know Chris Dempsey. I've been in fighter circles, and Chris Dempsey as a coach for the Mat Factory typically asks some questions, but you'll meet with the ref. They'll have a rule set meeting, and that's where you can ask. I know sometimes foot stomps come and go depending on the jurisdiction. And for amateurs, sometimes kicking to the head, kneeing to the head, elbow, some of the things you went through can sometimes be debated even right at the rule meeting. So you'll get it figured out. I can't wait to see what happens. Do you have any sponsors or anybody you want to thank coming into this fight that's gotten you ready or helped you get prepared? And then September 23rd is right around the corner.
Yeah, I have a couple sponsors. My one friend, Selena Joe, she does the she does the eyebrows and the lip stuff. She makes you real nice and pretty. She sponsors me, so if any girls are, like to do those kind of things, she's definitely the person to get in touch with. And all my coaches, Isaac, Chris Dempsey, Matt Schaefer, um, Chris Williams. I still go down to All American and train with Nick, and he's my guy. So always a big shout out to him and everybody down there. Then I haven't really got a new list of all of my sponsors yet. It's me and Selena renewed our little, thing today. But I told her today, I said, you're a forever sponsor. I don't even want anything from it. But yeah, and obviously my family and stuff are just supporting me and letting me do this crazy stuff we do.
It is. I'm glad you have the support. I'm glad you have, Selena's a great example of somebody trains quite a lot and did jujitsu at the Sprawlenberg and is also a small business owner. It's really exciting to see those relationships both in MMA training and also small business owners, particularly small business owners who are fighters or in the fight world, makes a big difference. Of
Yeah.
course, Nick Brown just had a big win down in Morgantown. I got to be there live to see his big win. Of course, we got to spend some time together back then.
Yeah.
You have a fight coming up, but it was great hanging out with you and the general. So just incredible stuff. It was a great, impressive performance from him. And I know it's where you started out at. So best skills to you. Always an honor having you on the show.
Thank you so much, Luke.
You take care. Best skills September 23rd for New Line Cage Fighting in Lexington, Kentucky. Thanks so much. Karli Jo Thomas on the show with Luke Payson for MMA Fancast. You take care.
You too. Thank you, Luke.
All right, bye-bye.